The playlist Rediscover the 80s on Amazon Music.
Alexa, volume 3.
Look.
All right, so what is that? Comment what happened.
It's Lady Gaga, but watch. Why is
Okay.
she acting in this?
What is she doing?
Is she in a
Lady-
new movie?
Yeah, she's in the new Joker movie. She's gonna be Harley. She's playing Harley Quinn in the new Joker movie.
Are they filming it right now?
It's already done filming, I believe.
Look how she's acting.
Hey, everybody. She's Lady Gaga. She's crazy, right, everybody? We're talking. Andrea's showing me a video, and Lady Gaga is walking down the steps
She's
of
like
some place,
creepy
looking
slow motion.
looking all crazy.
The security
like-
guys though are like looking at each other like, what the fuck is wrong
Right.
with her?
So, hey, everybody. This is Down the Rabbit Hole podcast coming to you live. Just a chill session today, and we're leaving it open for you guys to pick what you want to hear us talk about today. We're not going to get into any arguments. We're not going to yell and scream at each other if we have differences of opinions, because we need to learn to love each other. We need to learn to live in peace and realize that political spectrum aside, we need to really love each other and realize that it's not left and right, it's not Republican and Democrat,
It's not race.
it's the elites versus everybody else. It's the people, the powers that be versus all of us schlemps, us low-level things. Who wants to join? Who is that? Sure, we'll let you join. Come on up.
Deprecare duem passis ut canter setanam sub pedibus
Hello.
nostris ni otra valiat captivos terere
What
homines
the
et
heck?
ecclesia nocer. In nomine Patris.
Well, I don't know what the heck that was. I am not trying to get no naughty incantation done. So, man, hey, Dr. Jazzberry, Dr. Jazzberry, everybody, in the chat. So, Dr. Jazz, I'm here with my oh, shit. I'm here with my co-host, Andrea. She's over there. And so Dr. Jazzberry, she's done a few different types of lives, and she's talked about leadership. Is leadership inherently better in men or women? And if it's better in men, why? And I think we kind of debunked that, didn't we, Dr. Jazz? I mean, we are. She also works with me. She's not just a co-host. So she's been in those type of situations with, upper leadership and, CEO, E-suite, C-suites type of people. And, there is a lot of misogyny in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
There is a lot of, men trying to, I'm the man, I'm gonna take over, I'm the superior. And it's just they talk down to you.
Well, like for me, in my experience, I'll bring a great idea to the table.
And
the same idea a male may have,
right,
I'll get shot down, but they'll hear out the male person.
That's happened with you and me, hasn't it?
occasions.
Yeah, sometimes she'll make a suggestion and it'll get brushed under the rug or disregarded, and I'll come behind her and make the same suggestion, and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, it's cool. Yeah, we'll try that. We'll change the whole company policy."
Right.
And it's like she's the one. I think as a leader, I do a good job of giving you recognition.
Yeah, you do good about recognizing anybody's work.
Right.
If somebody's doing a good job, you do recognize them.
At every level.
At every level, yeah. Male, female.
Yeah, no, we got to empower women. As a male leader, right. I have to empower you.
Hourly employee, salaried employee versus all of it. They're all...
She said, you definitely have a leader's voice.
Who?
The lady,
Me?
that's what she's...
You?
Who, me or her? She's got a leader's voice too, doesn't she?
You
Here.
You do have a leader's voice.
Well...
You got the gift of gab.
Coming to you live from the Rabbit Hole Studio. We are here talking with you, spreading love and light, and having conversation. What's your favorite conspiracy theory right now? What's your favorite conspiracy theory? Dr. Jazz, you want to come up here?
My favorite conspiracy theory right now,
yes,
is the government controlling weather and things, facilitating things that are happening and making it look like natural disasters.
Oh, weather control. You know that guy, that guy that worked in Australia, in Antarctica, and he said that the facilities there can manipulate weather. And, we were talking about it the other day. Now, we're in Florida, and we've been in Florida for a long, 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 long time. And, we're gonna get her and do the do. I'm going to talk about that next.
Right, I know. I heard about that too.
Here, we'll push that back a little bit. Oh, mamma mia. Mamma mia. My mother. So, there she is. She's real, everybody. She is real. And I know she does look kind of like Kim Kardashian Mexicano. Maui Blast Mountain Dew. Yes, you are right. So... we were talking about it. We're in Florida, and we get the, we go out in the sun. We like to go out in the sun because we're naturally, melanated. So when we go out to the sun, we tan pretty easily.
Right.
So this year, I was at the resort in Orlando for 3 days sitting in the sun.
Bro.
For 3 days, no sunscreen on, in the pool, and it was hot as hell, but the sun wasn't burning me at all. It was weird. It was weird.
And you know what's funny is I told him the same thing. When I got back, I was like, what's funny is I was in the sun all day long, and normally I'll get real dark, real burnt, real fast, and I barely even tanned. And I was like, that's kind of weird for us to being so hot.
Sunshine is good. Dr. Jazz Berry coming on the line.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello, Dr. Jazz.
How's it going? Hello. Hi. How are you doing?
I'm great.
We are good. We are great. We're in chill mode today.
Are you guys recording right now? A podcast right now?
Well, no, but I am good. I was going to save this and put it on the YouTube. Are you okay with that?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
We're just hanging out today.
Okay.
And we're talking our favorite conspiracy theories. But now that you're here, as an educated woman, as a woman who is a leader in not just the word leader, but a leader in the AI space, What does somebody educated like you think about us when we talk about conspiracy theory?
Well, here's the thing. Um, I look at it as, as someone who probably has conspiracy theories of her own. Uh-oh, we froze there. Can you see me now? Or is it me?
Oh, there we go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There we go. I'm with you.
Okay, maybe
Yep.
that was on my side. So I always say, I think everyone has a little bit of conspiracy theory in them. It's probably natural, part of just the human experience to question the reality of things. So, I have
Right.
my
Question
conspiracy
everything.
theories about, how life seems to operate, and I just think that's just part of the rationale that we have just as human beings is to just question things around us. And it's this whole, I think probably the latest conspiracy theory, which probably people don't really feel like getting into now, is the whole aliens thing, or with I guess the little
Oh,
government press conference that they.
I'm an expert in that one.
Oh, you are? Oh, we can ask some questions. Well,
Yeah.
I have many questions.
I
Like,
have
where's the
some
evidence?
I have some I have some DOD contacts.
Oh, nice. See, you're the right person to talk
So
to.
yeah, there's a lot going on, and what we're really shooting for is disclosure. There are people within the government, we'll call them the old guard, and they don't think the people are ready for it. Um, they're not
Yes.
demons. Um, we have to look beyond the veil. Now wait, they could be demons. You can't read the background. Do I have to change it?
So this happens on my live too. Like when I'm in the comment section, it's hard to see the host or the background, but when you come up as a speaker, you can see it. Like it shifts for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, that's so weird. I can see it perfectly. Well, I
Yeah,
guess I'll address that later.
I think it probably needs
But
to just be squished a little bit.
yeah, I don't
Or
know
what
how
about
to
if you
do
make
all.
me small?
Let's
Maybe that
see.
helps. Since I don't have the
My aptitude for um,
There you
how
go.
about that?
Let's ask the comments if they can see that. I could see it. I wonder if they could see it.
Okay. How's that look, Deb? So anyway, we went down the rabbit hole there for a second. Um,
Perfect. Boom.
so yeah, there's powers that be in Washington, the old guard. They don't want disclosure. They don't want the truth to be let out. Whistleblowers are actively being threatened, and
What is the truth? Maybe I could start there. What is the truth? If you
the
could give me
truth
one.
is the truth is we have had over 155 documented face-to-face communications with extraterrestrials, and most of the time we are the aggressor,
Mm,
and we have kidnapped,
mm.
we have impounded vehicles, and we do have technology that is probably 30 or 40 years ahead of where you think we are. And
So I
so
have a
you're in
question.
the AI space.
Yeah. Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, and then you could talk about the AR part. Do we currently have any of the live aliens in captivity?
Yes.
Oh,
And they're
interesting.
not, and it's not Area 51.
Do they look like humans in any way?
Some of them. Some
Interesting.
of them. There's over
You,
20
you think they're,
documented species.
oh, really? This is fascinating. I could sit here and ask you questions all day. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think they're derivations of the human species or something? Oh, you said they're different, 20 different species. Okay. I was gonna ask, do you think they're like spin-offs of us or just something completely different that we've never
I
seen
think
before?
we might be a spin-off of them, or
Oh,
or
interesting.
maybe a byproduct. or an advanced, maybe DNA was manipulated to advance within certain, Neanderthalic creatures. I don't know. I don't know that, but I believe anything's possible. I also believe in Jesus. So,
Yeah,
you
this
know,
is
it,
this is
it's a
fascinating.
weird thing. Who's trying to? Oh my gosh!
Go
I thought. Hold on one second, Doctor.
ahead.
Hi, I saw you
What
were
are you
on.
doing?
I saw you
What
were
are you doing?
I saw you were on and I was like, "Oh my gosh. I don't usually see your stream." So I was like, "Hey, I got to stop by real quick, see how y'all are doing." I didn't mean to interrupt at all. I'm so
No, go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead. Welcome up.
No, you are here to verify what we're talking about, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought you were taking a hiatus.
I was and I still am. I'm not talking about anything of that nature at all. That's my plan.
Okay,
Probably gonna be
okay.
about 3 or 4 weeks because I'll just say we're working under some strict conditions at the moment in time. So yeah, I just wanted to stop by and say hey,
Um,
that's all. Because I saw you on. I was like, just make sure y'all having a good day or whatever. But I'm gonna leave. I'm
I
still
am having a
watching.
good day. I was actually just speaking about things that you and I speak about.
Amazing. I'm gonna sit here and watch. It'll be amazing. I'm so excited. All right,
Okay,
y'all.
go ahead, and I hope I get everything right.
Awesome.
Doctor, that is my friend who is actually involved in, trying to open disclosure within the government.
Oh, really? Wow. Look, I'm
So
meeting all
she
the
is
squad here.
she is the legit real deal.
Wow.
So
I'm missing
you
out
want to
on
hear?
so much.
So yeah, that's we were doing a show the other night where we were reviewing the video of Malaysian flight MH370, and
Hmm. What do you think? That's an
the
alien encounter?
actual. Oh, absolutely. There's multiple video angles. One of them is from our own satellite. Another one is from a drone, and they played the videos simultaneously next to each other. So unless Steven Spielberg or James Cameron was out there making a movie, absolutely these three crafts circled the plane and took them straight through a portal.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh. Kind of like that.
Doctor, I
Go
want you
ahead.
to look up ontological shock. Do you know what ontological shock is?
I do not, but I'm open to learning about it.
Ontological shock it's a philosophical ideal,
Hmm.
and it's what happens when humans have to question their core beliefs and core ideals and expand their thought process pretty much. So
Hmm.
so let's say somebody not believing that the sky is blue because they're colorblind, and they think everybody's lying, and then all of a sudden they gain their eyesight, their true
Right.
eyesight, they see it's blue. That shock, that's part of it. So imagine, let's bring religion into it.
Yeah.
Imagine the shock when the religious people realized that Jesus was real,
Hmm.
but Jesus was a being, a man who was elevated within his vibrations within
Hmm.
himself. And that
So,
when people do elevate their vibrations, we are
hmm.
capable of wonderful, mysterious, ethereal things that science cannot explain.
Yeah. That's the type of work I would love to get into in the future. Kind of like to get into those unexplainable phenomena. And or yeah, I would call it that. Currently, they're unexplainable. So I
Right.
think I don't know if you've been in one of my lives where we talked about consciousness and self-awareness, because that's the field of
Yeah.
research that I'm also in as it relates to AI. And actually,
Okay.
I'm attending a consciousness conference, this weekend right now. I'm just taking a break talking to you. And we're
Oh,
we're
cool.
kind of like one of the running themes of the conference is that, these scientists and researchers are really, saying that for the longest time this work was considered taboo or kind of like woo science, because no one really believes that the scientific method can study this in an appropriate way, but we're trying to. And
Sure.
now that you think about, now that you brought up, other aliens or just aliens in general, I'm
We
curious.
call them extraterrestrial beings.
ETBs for short.
That's if we're gonna respect pronouns. No, I'm joking.
I could do that. I could do that. Let me know what they prefer. And but yeah, I'm curious because it's you know, okay. Let's go back to MH370. Why do you
Okay.
think they were taken?
I believe there was some cargo on board. One, there was cargo on board, and I believe there's some type of connection between the people on the plane, the cargo, and I
Something
think there
they
was a
found
little
useful.
something nefarious, maybe. We will use the word nefarious,
From the aliens.
because I wouldn't say so. I'm not worried about the ETs. I'm worried
Right.
about the humans interacting with them.
Well, this is my. What if? Let's
Hey, I'm gonna let my
Theoretically-
co-host theorize here. Conspiracy
theoretically,
theory.
what if it's made to look like an alien, but it's our tech? We're doing it.
Well, that's
Is facilitating it to
sure,
experiment
absolutely.
on people and maybe they're making people think that it's all that.
I believe that's a possibility too. So, what did you hear? What she said?
Could you repeat it just to make sure I understood? I
said
caught the
that,
latter part of it.
Maybe it was a our government using technology that we have and making
To
people think
experiment.
that it was
But it could be to experiment. Can we
ETs.
teleport?
yeah. I mean,
Maybe
it could
it
have been an
was a-
active experiment. Can we teleport this plane?
Oh. You know what? Interesting.
So
So if that
the
was the
theories
case,
of it.
why wouldn't they be smart
So
enough to avoid the drones and the satellites?
well, I think that there's people working within our government that are recording this and trying to expose it. I think that the active government is trying to actively suppress this. I mean, we see it, in videos from the space station that go dark. You see something weird, and then all of a sudden the space station video goes blank. Or, you see Elon Musk with his Falcon 9 rocket shooting it into the air, and now all of a sudden, when rockets are going into space, they look like they're going through water, and it didn't look like that 20, 30 years ago. There's so much the governmental levels and manipulation behind it. I don't think people really want to believe it or think that there's a certain
possible.
thing like the dark state or the deep web. But when the military misses billions of dollars a year, and the Department of Homeland Security misses billions of dollars, and all of these different entities are missing millions and billions of dollars a year, that's where the funding is. They're not missing that money. They're reappropriating and dispersing that money to these black projects, and they're working with Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Base Systems, and there's satellites everywhere. We own satellites. China owns
And you also got to think
satellites.
about all the big corporations too that are also a part of all of this.
Yes, the
pharmaceutical
corporations that are
industries,
involved, big
right.
pharma. I mean, people don't want to recognize these things, but there's a lot of human id and ego involved as well.
Right. 1,000%.
When it comes to
1,000%.
when it comes to the ET technology, we have technology to inflict damage on them. Like say shoot down a ship and recover a ship and subdue an ET creature. But we really do not have the technology to defend ourselves against them. They
Mm.
choose not to interact. They look at our species as barbarians. They look at us because we are actively trying to shoot them down. So think about it like this from an ET's point of view. They're coming from Andromeda. They send their ambassador. They
Yeah.
send their ambassador. The ambassador lands in Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and they capture him, bring him to the Black Dark Room, put his vehicle into impound. Now they're trying to use that technology. And now they're interrogating this
Specimen.
ambassador, and they don't release him.
Mm.
So say they've done that. Hey, wait, we've sent 100 ambassadors, and you guys have captured 97 of them. What's
Mm.
going on? We're trying to bring peace. We're trying to communicate with you. So that's why now the disclosure is happening within the government, because the entities and the ETs, everything's off the table now. Any deal they had, any treaty, anything that they had that said, hey, you're not going to come and interact with our people. Now they're
Right.
saying, hey, we're coming. We're going to show people that we're here. And as time progresses, we're going to show more and more and more until everybody believes.
Until
Because
they
they don't.
start declaring war or something.
What did you say?
My
2027?
hypothesis is 2025.
Yes, in 2020. Oh, 2025.
What happened?
So, in 2025, 2027, between this time frame, we're going to see. I believe we're going to see, them. I think they're going to come land in people's backyards. I think they're tired of dealing with
I
the
was
government.
gonna ask that next. So
Vegas
why
is big.
don't we see more of the ETs in like populated areas? They're always in like
I think we do.
some remote
I
field,
think we do. I think
like New York, for
maybe
example.
maybe your natural algorithm isn't attuned to UFO sightings, but
Right.
Long Island is one of the biggest hotspots for UFO sightings.
I did not know
And the
that.
Long Island Sound and that whole strip between and from Manhattan all the way up into Connecticut, Rhode Island area is a real hot spot. Texas
Oh,
right now is a big hot spot. San Antonio specifically. The Phoenix Lights that happened years ago, that was real. That was an event that millions of people witnessed, and they, still to this day, the government says, we don't know what's going on.
interesting. Do we have any shape-shifting ETs, if that makes sense?
Yeah,
Like they come in one
absolutely.
form and then they morph into something else.
Absolutely.
Wow.
They say Bigfoot is
Yeah,
that.
I believe
Really?
Bigfoot's an interdimensional creature.
That's what they say.
I've seen him
Wow.
disappear. I know he might sound crazy, but
I've seen Bigfoot. Nobody
she's
can tell
seen it.
me. I've
You want
seen
to tell the
him
story?
with my own two eyes.
Yes, tell us. Tell us.
I was about 8 years old, and we were on this family property, and there was me, this boy, an older gentleman, and I think another female. Yes, another female. She was a teenager at the time. And there's this fence that was in the backyard, and we saw this big, hairy thing. That's all I can explain. He stepped over the fence with so much ease. It was the craziest thing I ever seen, and it started to walk toward us. And it was probably about 50 feet from us. You could see like the hair on him was dark at the roots, and then it got lighter as it got further down. So I was like, it couldn't have been somebody in a costume.
Right.
But the people who were with us, their grandfather came running out with this rifle, and he shot the rifle in the air, and the thing just took back off into the woods. It was pure daylight. There was no dark, clear as day, something I'll never forget. And then to mine, the whole story, the road that it's on has actually had spottings of a big creature crossing the street.
Tell them about the time we were in the backyard.
Oh, you
What
can tell them. I
state
don't
was
know.
this in?
I'm sorry?
What state was that in?
Florida.
Oh, wait, it's in Florida?
Yeah, and in
Bigfoot is in
Florida they
Florida?
call it skunky.
I thought it was, wow. This whole time I thought it was like in one of the northern states, or that's where it
That One
generally
of
was
the
located.
one of the most legitimate Bigfoot sightings, recordings, and documentation comes from Tallahassee, Florida.
Seminole country.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, we operate in Seminole country.
Wow. That's my
Yeah.
area. I have family from Florida, so that's
Oh, okay.
near and dear to me. That's interesting. I did not know
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Well, my whole family's
That's
from
where
Florida, I should say.
one of our places of business is.
Wow. Okay, I'm learning something new. I'm learning something new.
Yeah.
My conspiracy theory, it's not alien adjacent, but I think
Yes.
it's more
No.
so
Give me
along
anything.
it's more so along the lines of health. So my personal theory is that there are cures, a lot more cures out there for diseases than we would like to think, but it's very marketable and profitable for some people to live with certain diseases. Their companies can profit off of them by just simply giving them medications or treatments and keeping them alive for a longer time. So one example is like for diabetes, right? Like
Yes.
that's my conspiracy theory. Like
That's not a conspiracy theory. That's not a conspiracy
Listen,
theory. That is the truth. And Vivek Ramaswamy is trying to expose
Well,
it.
when we were talking a minute ago, before we talked about Bigfoot, I was gonna say that when we talked about the alien part, that the government is dosing people with medications to keep them sick and keep them from healing themselves when there is natural remedies out here that nature has, and we're not exploring that. And it makes you wonder, why are we not exploring it? Why is it taboo to do that? Because the pharmaceutical industries are part of it. They're part of this whole big corporation that is wanting to have control over a society. So keep all the old people heavily medicated. All these old people that I know that are on medications are on 10 to 15 different medications, and they're just dosing people up to be zombies. And then these old people, God forbid they try to get off of them, they'll die from withdrawals just because they've been on it for so long. It's sad.
You're 1,000% right, and it's so sad to see. And that's why I'm passionate about trying to, at least with tech, coming from my angle, using AI technology or whatever source we can use to help democratize access to information related to people's medications and health, because I really think putting the power of health back into the person's hands, the individual's hands, is where they can get the greatest outcome and response. But it's just it's hard for people to do that because they suffer from a lack of knowledge to an extent. Right. But if we can democratize some of this information out to the world,
question, though, why do they have lack of knowledge? Why don't they want you to know all of this?
Right. Why are the doctors actively coaching and talking with them about alternate forms
and
of
then
healing?
When you do talk to the doctor about them, you're going to get them to say, oh, no. That's not the proper route.
Yeah, she's going through that right now with something she's fighting, and she's trying to find a holistic way to do it. And there's with the issue she has, there's very few doctors. And then as far as the natural route goes, oh my gosh, it's like nobody wants to deal with her.
It's like you literally have to be your own doctors these days. And unfortunately, I know some people who have actually gone through something that was preventable, but the doctors didn't back them up. Right. The doctors didn't back them up, or the healthcare system, didn't give them what they needed to. Okay, just coming from my angle from the tech side, it's unbelievable the amount of stuff that we can do for people's health. The disconnect is that a lot of people just don't have access to what they need to get cured or to get healthy or to some capacity. So that's where the frustration is for me. It's like, I know this stuff is out there for people to live well and thrive, but
can I give you my anecdotal story to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was in a car accident, and I was going through therapy. I was doing everything the doctors were telling me to do, and then it came down to a point where they said, you need surgery. So I said, nah, I don't want to really do surgery. So I went to who they recommended first, and within 10 minutes of me being in there, not even really talking to me, the doctor was like, oh, yeah, we'll do this surgery. We'll go in. We'll do a small incision.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do this, and you'll be healed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, no. I went to the doctor for the Tampa Bay Lightning, the same doctor that, services the players. And he said, no. Let's try this thing called a cold laser. So I said, okay. So my chiropractor at the time happened to have a cold laser, and he just got it. I was one of his first patients, and I did the cold laser therapy for 6 weeks. And by golly, I didn't need surgery. I didn't get surgery. I don't have the back pain anymore. And I asked my chiropractor, I'm like, man, this was like life-changing.
Yep.
Why doesn't everybody use it? He said,
Yep.
well, I invested in this machine for my patients, but insurance doesn't cover it. And so at his practice, he has this machine, but he was like one of 5 doctors in the whole state that had it.
And you said it's for Tampa
And
Bay Lightning, right? So he's working with athletes, professional athletes.
right. So the doctor that recommended me get the cold laser was one doctor, and my chiropractor had the cold laser for his therapy practice.
That's wild. That is wild.
But they were not connected. They didn't know each other. But I mean, the doctor from the Tampa Bay Lightning was one that mentioned the cold laser, and then my chiropractor said, "Yeah, I just got one last week," and it was I've been blessed with synchronicities in my life that have propelled me through health issues and personal issues, spiritual issues,
Right.
and that was one of those cases. For sure.
No, thank you for sharing that. I think that's a powerful testimony in and of itself. And, I'm glad you saw that for what it was, because it further emphasizes the point that, you saw that level of technology that was needed. It helps you avoid getting surgery, which is, I think, something most people should try to avoid, just because when you're going into the body, doing something invasive into the body, that's critical. And I'm glad you're doing well. But it also reminds me of, since I'm also in the lane of robotics, like different type of, amputees, right? If they don't have a limb or an arm or a leg, there are several prosthetics out there that can do a great job at actually hooking up to your nervous system and kind of getting your brain signals to operate as if it's a normal limb. Those technologies literally sit on the working bench collecting dust and not out there in the public helping people, to become more mobile again. And it's just so frustrating.
There's a gentleman that goes live. There's a gentleman that does live, and he has a hand.
He does that. Very few people do that. Him. But I would love to see everyone in the world who needs it, every kid who needs it, every child who needs it, get access to that. I think the government can supply the resources to help, some of our cripple or immobile people do that. But it's an issue. It's like you really have to question: do our governments or do our countries really want us to see us healthy?
They don't. Absolutely not. Physically, spiritually, financially, they don't want any. Thank you so much. They don't want us to think. They don't want us to join forces. There's so much. Let's go to a conspiracy theory talking about the medical thing, and we'll include it into society. And if people don't think that these powers that be are also manipulating society, numbers can disprove that tremendously. So right now, what's the big issue when you go on lives? What is everybody arguing about? It's either politics or trans issues, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's arguing about these things. And to me, it's like, first off, it's like a non-argument. Like, we've got so much more as a society to deal with that. Thank you thanks for the roses.
That's another thing you see a lot on TikTok.
Yeah, that too. So, oh man, you made me forget my train of thought. I
Do
get
you see trans
squirrely.
issues I guess talked about a lot so in mainstream media, like on Fox News, CNN, MSNBC,
You
or
don't?
is it's mostly on TikTok, right?
Well, yes and no. What I see on the news coverages is them covering
Politics.
stories. Yeah, the political side of it, or like here in Florida, there was a huge school board meeting, and it was
Okay.
involved
Yeah.
a trans teacher and da da da. We went and covered
Yeah.
that, but I believe that the pharma industry has a lot to do with that because, you know, the rate of people identifying as gay, trans, I believe the number is 400% increase in adolescence over the past 15 years.
Yeah, they said it was going
And
up. Mhm.
yeah, and who really benefits from, let's call it an agenda, who really benefits from that the most? These pharmaceutical companies, when they're telling a 12-year-old that, hey, we can take this prostate medicine and we can give it to you in high doses, and we can start the process of you becoming, a woman or man or whatever. And these medicines cost a lot of money. The transitioning process is a lot of money.
It's a targeted.
And there's parents out there that are like, I'm going to do whatever I can to make my child happy, other than, hey, you know what? Let's go see a professional. Let's maybe see a therapist.
Love our body.
Yeah, let's love our body. Just basic things that the normal household and family don't talk about anymore.
Right.
And I'll tell you this too. My children have gone to private school their whole career. This is their first year in public school, and it is like night and day. It is the difference is tremendous. And already week one of school, the talk of inclusion and bringing up, what you identified about, all of that stuff.
So wait,
and at
you
my
said
children's school,
this is public school?
this is at the public school. This is at the public school.
In Florida?
In Florida.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I thought Florida was pushing stuff back.
No.
I thought they didn't want to go through all that.
DeSantis is,
he's all
and he's
talk.
crazy. Yeah, he's crazy. But the schools have to conform. It's almost like the parents demand it, and it's the minority that is dictating everything for us, for the majority. So, but at my children's at the private school, what are my children learning at private school? Civics, ethics, personal accountability. My daughter, who's in 6th grade now, God bless her, she calls herself a strong, independent child, and she's proud of that. And we're creating a society of everybody wants to. I got to be part of the cool kids. I want to be part of the club.
Yeah.
And we no longer have. There's no bully justice doesn't exist in school anymore. And I'm not saying that bully justice is a good thing, but I remember when I was coming up, when I saw a bully picking on somebody, I was able to go up to the bully and say, hey, dude, calm the hell down, shove him off and defend the kid.
Right.
And you can't do that anymore. You can't even speak up. You can't, they've made it that children that want to speak up, they have to do it in a different way now. So how do they do it?
Really?
younger kids are rallying. Younger kids are zombies on their phone. That's another thing. My son didn't get his phone until he was 14 years old. And now that he's in public school with all these kids, he's like, everybody's just staring at their phones. They're all robots.
Yeah, I think that was probably a good idea for you. Obviously, I'm in a different generation from your son, but I didn't get mine until I was in probably like in high school, like maybe sophomore, junior. But that was a different day. But I think it's been a minute.
So I can't even resonate.
She had a pager.
Oh yeah, I remember the pagers. I remember them.
The pagers. You had the pagers. They paged you. You went to the payphone, either called someone or put the money in the thing and made your phone call.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
remember those days. But what I was gonna say is that, I was talking with another guy. I don't know if you know him. His name is I forgot his name, but we were saying social media nowadays is basically it's a drug. It's a drug. The way it plays on your brain, the dopamine that it gives you, like it makes a lot of people addictive. And without moderation of it, it could really, warp your sense of reality, your sense of perception. So I think it's good that you waited for your son to at least be of age to where at least he's matured some bit. He's still growing, obviously, but putting these screens in front of our kids' faces long term, who knows what that's gonna do.
Yeah, and that's something that just goes to show you the control that we have been put under. And that's why I go up here, the point that says, are you tired of it? Because I am tired of society the way it is. I am tired of people, like, I'll go back to social media, people feeling that it's okay to argue and yell and scream at each other when you have different point of views. And, I use myself as an example. I consider myself a Christian. I don't align with the religion, but I do believe that Jesus Christ was a real man. I do believe that Jesus Christ had supernatural abilities and he was in tune with God and God, whatever. But I'm also pro-choice.
Yeah.
I also support the gay community.
Right.
And what happens is they have polarized us in such a way. So when let's go to politics, who does a person like me have to represent my values the best? When I'm a person that believes in Jesus, but I believe in separation of church and state. I also believe that certain things shouldn't be taught to elementary and middle school kids. And I believe that immigration needs to improve, but I also believe in border security. So it's like, where does somebody who has a middle of the road viewpoint of life, where do I find representation?
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to find that these days because it seems like what we have as options are just on the extremes. And I think that
Oh, you muted yourself.
also let me drop down, but
Oh, okay. I heard you. Adios, muchacha. Hello, Kelly Green Beans. Thank you, Dr. Jazz. Dr. Jazzberry. She's great, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome person. She works with AI. I want to get her on and talk about Skynet. But you know what I want to do first, guys? First, we're going to take a break and go eat some tacos. And then we're going to come back. So thank you.
Tacos are good on any day. That's coming from the Mexican.
Well, you heard it from the Mexican. Tacos are good on every day. Peace and love to everybody. We are going to be back on later. Bye.